Hey everybody, welcome to my favorite shitty movie. We've got one of our favorites, Crix Lee, on the show tonight, and it's her first time on a Monday night broadcast. And the movie she picked is called Pushing Tin. It's got John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton and Kate Blanchett and Angelina Jolie and Kurt Fuller and a whole long line of great character actors. This movie came out in the year 1999, which many film critics say is the best year for movies ever of all time. It is certainly an interesting year, and a lot of great movies and overrated movies and bad movies came out this year. And Pushing Tin is one that I was like, I forgot about that. And it's such a weird movie. It's like, a workplace dramedy, but then the whole second act is just two guys trying to fuck each other's wives. And you kind of want to say, hey, why don't you look into ethical non-monogamy, you guys? This seems like a lot of trouble, what you're going through. And also it just, I was watching this movie with my wife the other night, and both parts where they get in one, it's just Billy Bob Thornton getting under a jet, and he flips through the air in the wake turbulence, they call it. And then when it's him and John Cusack, they both flip through the air when the jet lands over their heads, and they turn into these little shitty cartoons when they're flipping through the air. And I'm pretty sure, because I know I saw this in the theater because I was a huge Cusack guy. I still like watching Cusack in movies. And in the 90s, he was coming, like 1999 Pushing Tin, he's coming off of a lot of really awesome sort of indie hits, like High Fidelity and Grosse Pointe Blank. Like he was killing it in the 90s. And then Pushing Tin was sort of the first time I was like, what? what are we doing? And then the bad CGI, man, I was like, I don't know, John Cusack, what are we doing? But before we talk any further about this 1999 picture, Pushing Tin, please welcome my co-host, Tracy Mercer.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my God.
How are you revisiting Pushing Tin? Do you remember how you first felt about it?
I do. I remember. It's so funny. I have very vivid memories of seeing it with my parents opening weekend in Palm Springs. I had driven out to the desert to hang out with them, and the cast was insane. So it was like, okay, there's a new original movie. What original movie? Well, I guess based on an article that was then adapted, whatever. But still, the original idea. But the cast is like Kate Blanchett and Angelina Jolie are also both warming up. Cusack, I think you're right, is starting to kind of descend a bit. And Billy Bob, he's this giant X factor for me. I've never quite understood his thing. Like A Sling Blade was amazing, and I have mad respect for one man show, and he wrote it and he perfected it and he honed it, and then he got to make the indie movie back when you could do such a thing. And people took it up and the whole thing, and Oscar nominations and things ensued. And so I have mad props for a guy like Billy Bob, who at that point in his life wrote his way into mainstream studio starring, because I can't think of anyone less interesting for me personally as a leading man than Billy Bob Thornton. And what's great about Pushing Tin, I think, is that it's this, like we were talking before the show, the cinematic amber of a time where he was with Angelina Jolie in real life. And whatever people's feelings are about that, and we weren't there and we don't know and we shouldn't care because we're not those two. There's a weirdness that's in this film that I think perfectly preserves age differences and craziness. And so that's interesting. And the idea that Kate Blanchett had not fully arrived as, I think, probably one of the better actors of her generation yet, because I think this film, it's funny, you were talking about what it's about, and I was thinking, to answer your question, I remember seeing it with my parents. I remember the theater we saw it in Palm Springs. I remember, I think it was even a 7:30 show because we had to finish dinner. I had erased the film. I remember thinking, this is not good. I can't believe these good people were in this disaster. And I'd forgotten it. And then I revisited it for the show and I went, I see why I forgot it. But now it's interesting because of the cast. I think the performances are worth watching it for. But also, and we've talked about this a couple times on the show specifically, but I think it bears repeating before we bring Crix up, because I want to hear what she has to say about this. You know, you have to watch the film in the context of when it was made.
Mm-hmm.
By that, I mean, in 1999, you still had a Fox 2000, which was like, it's not big Fox. It's like, this is the label for, you know, kind of medium budget, you know, for adults, about characters, didn't have to be comic book people, whatever. And we don't have that anymore. Fox 2000 is long shuttered. And while I'm not going to die on the hill for this film, I missed the potential. And Fox 2000, certainly you can Google it, made many a good movie. But we also, I was thinking, you know, we're a couple years out from 9/11. There was still a little bit of an innocence to this era.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the credits and you see the Twin Towers and you see by our contemporary eyes how young Billy Bob looks, how young Cusack looks. I mean, Jolie actually has, dare I say, a little bit of like weight on her, and looks beautiful with some weight on her. And Blanchett is clearly warming up, but I don't know that this is a film about anything. To me, it felt like a little bit of a menopausal brosphere movie, before we use the word brosphere, of two guys who I don't want to spend time with. And then you've got the Madonna whore, respectively, Cate Blanchett, who's the much bored housewife Madonna figure. Yeah, we were like high school sweethearts, and I've got a Brooklyn accent. And then you've got Jolie, who just like scours at everybody and is apparently the whore, even though whatever. There's a lot of slut shaming in this film, which I don't agree with. But I just feel like you've got Madonna whore, boring women who in real life I just know would have better odds than Cusack and Billy Bob. So it's this bizarre moment. It's a time capsule. It's this. And then, of course, now watching it in 2025, that's my Tracy Dogecut fatality name, where we have planes falling out of the sky because we've decided to not honor, you know, air traffic controllers, much like Reagan before, and, you know, cuts that are made and people are dying and planes are crashing. And I just felt like, God, this is a weird now behind the scenes, a little bit of what goes on in this world that is being sliced and diced. And, you know, talk to the Jersey folks with how every flight they have has been delayed, you know, post this. Right. So it's like a weird movie where it's like, you know, at least 2 of the 4 are still big stars. And the women, interestingly enough, who could still top line movies, but from studios. And yet we're so much more broken now than we were then. So I have all kinds of feelings. I just want to bring Crix up and hear what she has to say, and why of all the movies, because she always has great ideas. I mean, she's brought some of our best. Why this one tonight, and if it has anything to do with contemporary current events, or if it's just the pleasure of watching this very, at the time, younger cast. I think give really good performances across the board. I do, with what they're given, you know. Hello. Do we lose Todd?
Yeah.
I'm just going to bring Crix up. Crix, you don't need any introduction, but you know you're right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks for coming back to our craziness. What made you pick this one out of all the movies? Because I know you've suggested a lot of them that we're going to get to.
I suggested like 10. And I think it's because what happens is my friends used to laugh at me about this, because when I would get high, I would be on this train of thought.
Hey, Jimmy.
And then I'd lose it. And then maybe an hour, that thought would pick right back up again. So they were like, she's like a bus. If she misses one, she'll grab the other. And so I was watching season 2 of The Rehearsal, and I'm prefacing this by saying I like Nathan Fielder as an actor, but I find his awkwardness like really awkward for me. But he is also really into air traffic disasters and trying to, you know, figure out what's going on. And he had discovered that a lot of the accidents, a lot of the major air disasters were because of non-communication between the co-pilot and the pilot. And a lot of the black boxes, you would hear the co-pilot saying, "We should do this, we should do this." And the captain's like, "Fuck you, it's my fucking plane," blah, blah, blah. And he actually became a pilot. And on one of the episodes, he flies a plane with like 150 actors. He's flying a Boeing 737. And, you know, and it's the whole to test that communication theory. And then now, like, since Asshole was elected, we've had a lot more air traffic accidents, and
we've had more air close calls, crashes,
and collisions
since before 9/11, pre 9/11 era. I mean, that's how bad it's gotten, because it turns out people who actually do the hard work are necessary, and you don't want to cut the air traffic controllers, perhaps, which I love. And this goes back to, I think this movie ostensibly it was supposed to be a comedy drama. I would argue it's not as inherently funny. It's more of a drama. But what's crazy is they're trying to set the tone. Now we should, again, put people back in that mindset where, like, Mike Newell, the Brit who's directing this, had had a lot of success with 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which was like a huge hit. He would
but I think it's because of Glenn and Les.
Well, I was going to get to that. So let's back up. So you've got the director, Mike Newell, who is coming off of 4 Weddings, and a Funeral, but would go on to do Donnie Brasco, right? And he comes in with this, and he's all over the place. I mean, he would also go on to do, like, I think it's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, right? So this is a guy who has a very diverse studio resume. But to your point, Glenn and Les Charles, who write the screenplay, who worked on Taxi, co-created Cheers together, best known for television, but occasionally sneak in, like with the I think the Diane Lane film, Must Love Dogs.
This one is the only movie they ever did.
Well, they did Must Love Dogs too. They were on that, but yeah, I mean, they're TV people. But they're TV people.
That's the thing. If you look at, and that's the thing that I say about Pushing Tin. If you look at this, like the pilot of Cheers, or a sitcom, like, this movie could have easily been made into a sitcom, like Wings or anything else.
It could have
before now.
Taxi, you're right.
If they had done this as a sitcom back in the 90s, I would have watched it every fucking day. Wings was one of my favorite sitcoms.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the movie that way, and remember, this is Glenn and Les Charles. They did Mary Tyler Moore Show. They did a lot of, like, they're just prolific. Phyllis, they're prolific, and it's and if you look at it with a sitcom view instead of a movie view, especially taking into effect that it was before 9/11, you take it into that view, because there's no way that this movie would happen now. There's no
way. No.
And so that's why it's one of my favorite movies. And plus it was Billy Bob Thornton. This movie, I feel so bad. This movie and Bad Santa are like my 2 favorite movies of his. Like, I love Sling Blade, but that's not a movie I can just be like, I want to watch this right now.
Yeah, Billy Bob is like, he's just playing. Also, I think probably casting Billy Bob as a half Indigenous person, half Billy Bob. They talk about him as an Indian mutt. I think
he is. His mother's Choctaw.
It is interesting.
In real life.
In real life. But I think today, I mean, maybe he can get away with it with a feather and all this kind of stuff. But, like, what I also appreciated about this movie is that throughout the film, it is pre-PC, it is pre-political correctness. Todd's back. And it's, they take aim at everybody, which, again, we used to be able to do with everybody clutching pearls. And so that also, but inherently to a modern sensibility, watching it for the first time, or if you've forgotten it like I did and you're watching it again, you're like, these are things that a 20th Century Fox film would not say, whether that's good or whether it's bad. But I also found it like, I like movies that kind of challenge and have fun. And again, everybody in this, it's an equal opportunity attack, right? So but I think there is something, and I was struck by watching it again. Not only does it feel episodic in terms of there's like comedic set pieces that work to varying degrees, but the music cues are so television in this film that it is surprising to me, because I think of Mike Newell as actually a pretty good feature director. And so to me, the music cues also made it underscore the television-ness of it.
Right.
I think visually, and we'll get into this with stills, but it's not a visually attractive movie. He does lots of shots like he puts casts together like this, so we can kind of like lots of oneers and this and that. And so it's a really interesting, I don't think it's as fun as Moment. That being said, the talent involved with this, I think, will make it evergreen in terms of you should watch it because this cast is off the hook.
And plus, the reason why I think this might be the reason why the cast is so young, because like I was telling Todd, I just when I kind of, I think it's the spectrum part of me, but when I see something interesting and I immediately dive into it, kind of like, and I don't, Nathan Fielder, I'm not speaking for him, but it's that kind of obsession like he has. And
right.
So I was like, God, this cast is so young for a bunch of air traffic controllers. And I actually went and looked. It's so much fucking shit. You have to be a U.S. citizen. You can't be older than 31. You have to pass a med exam, security investigation, and then whatever the FAA throws at you for pre-employment. You also have to meet certain experience or education requirements, such as completing an FAA-approved AT-CTI program or having a combination of work and education. And then that's why, like in the movie, when they're like, you get three deals in 2.5 years. Yeah. And then that was in the 90s. And that's supposed to be the TRACON, which is in New York. And Billy Bob and Cusack actually went to Toronto and did training there. And but they both said that they could not fucking keep up with all the numbers and like the Victor, blah, 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 but that all of it had to be taped up in front above the camera.
Yeah,
so I believe read it correctly. They couldn't remember any of that shit, and I don't blame them.
I mean, how it would be so hard to memorize.
I mean, especially that fight scene where they're like, what the fuck is your problem?
Exposition up the
and also it's like what's at least supposed to be cool about it is that it's so cold, calculated, and delivered so quickly. But it's not like, expository dialogue you can fill up with some emotionality that makes it easier to remember. You just would have to remember that shit.
Well, but I think the emotional stuff is funny from the outside, like and we'll get into the movie in a minute, but like John Carroll Lynch is Dr. Freeze, and every time someone leaves and they come back, all the other ATCs bet. They're like, he won't make it out of his car. He'll make it to the door. And there was the only scene that he was in, and it was so funny. And because he's like, I'm gonna make it today. You got it, buddy. Lots this guy. Yeah, you just hear that guy yelling, "Lots this guy" in the background. I'm just like,
but again, it's one of those things that, again, this is a 2-hour film. If it's supposed to be a comedy, it's too long. Those are scenes that also easily by modern day you would have cut. But I have a working theory that I'm going to point out as we go through this movie, watching it as an older broad right now. I think
an older broad.
By comparison to like people who are on the CW. But I really think my working theory on this movie is that John Cusack is playing Lloyd Dobler because he's still dressing like him with the trench coat.
Oh no, they meant to do that.
The jersey, like he's literally Lloyd Dobler.
He was Lloyd Dobler. He was in that jacket twice.
Yeah, it's
first time he meets Mary, and then at the end, and that was on purpose.
Is it? I hope so. Yeah. Well, I thought it was just lazy acting because I thought he was, kind of playing.
No, because I mean, to be honest, The Zone, he's a lot like Lloyd Dobler. I mean, even the delivery of the lines, I mean, if he would have said, "I don't want to do this. I just want to date your daughter," in this movie, I would have been like, "That's great. That's fine."
I've heard that kickboxing is the sport of the future.
I feel like him to hold up
I'm a stalker in your eyes.
I get that, but I feel like Lloyd Dobler was a sweeter character.
Oh, he was
right, but this guy's an asshole. But
this guy's 100% asshole. That's one of the interesting things about this movie, and interesting things. What you're saying about independent movies is you used to be able to make these mid-budget movies and have everyone just be an asshole. Yes, the whole movie.
Well, plus you've got every movie's like good guy, bad guy. No, these guys are both fucking bad guys.
But they're the only personality type that can do this job, which actually makes sense on a certain level. I liked about the movie. I love the workplace stuff. We should get into the narrative because I want to talk about how the workplace stuff is the most interesting and sort of tense stuff. And then the whole second act of the movie really has very little to do with air traffic controlling. And it's about trying to fuck each other's wives.
It's
Yeah.
it's also like, but again, to your point, like High Fidelity was such a great film. This I would argue is not a great film. That one was, but I think what was interesting about High Fidelity was it was a legit rom-com from the male point of view, and it was thoughtful, and it was about a man self-reflecting. Here are the loves of my life. How did I blow these? And a thoughtful thing to a soundtrack that was flawless. Jack Black getting to emerge. Love that. Hornsby, totally. But there's something about this movie where I actually think, because now I've lived through 2016 and whatever, I think Lloyd Dobler does enter the manosphere. And I think this is exactly who he becomes. I think Lloyd Dobler, I think Diane Court gets so bored with his ass 5 years in, and this is what happens. And he's going and he's doing this stuff. Neither here nor there. Crix, try to walk us through, because it's been a long time. It's been 26 years. What the hell happens with this movie? This is, again, how we start off the quote. So this is supposed to be setting the tone of the film before we get into our characters. You land 1 million safely, then you have one little midair, and you never hear the end of it. Air traffic.
Yeah, and that's from the article Something's Gotta Give, which was written by Darcy Fry, who also wrote a book that became the movie The Last Shot. And much like I said on Facebook in Saturday Night Fever was based on a New York Times magazine article as well, as is this one. Yeah. And it's not like it's a new thing. I mean, I think there's like 3 or 4 movies now that are based on articles from the New York Times or the LA Times. But
Top Gun was based on a Texas Monthly article back in the day.
Yeah. So you know, there's nothing wrong with primary material like New York Times Magazine. You can't get any, it's gonna be fact checked.
But also Wired, right? The story for Argo appeared in Wired, and then Affleck turned that into an Oscar winner. But I feel like I'm okay.
I think the GameStop one came from Wired too.
It did, and so I'm okay with that too. I much rather have that than here's the 5th iteration of a certain comic book hero. But we'll get into that later.
Right.
And that's what the hell this film is about.
Fun fact, really, to interject, because you said The Last Shot. That's that movie with Alec Baldwin and Matthew Broderick, right?
It's a basketball movie.
Oh, The Last Shot is? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, no, I know which one you're talking about. But no, his is based on the book The Last Shot, City Streets Basketball Dreams.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So Lloyd Dobler becomes this guy. And he works as an air traffic controller. These, by the way, you guys, this is vintage 1999 graphics, yo.
Right. So, yeah. And like she said, so for me, I don't consider this a romantic comedy. I consider this a comedy drama.
Yep.
And so, like we know, it's directed by Mike Newell. Basically, the main guy that you're going to focus on is Nick Falzone, aka the Zone. Shake my hand like you mean it. He's just one of those guys that he's friendly with everybody, but everybody pretty much worships him. So he's the alpha of this group of air traffic controllers. And then here comes Russell Bell, which is Billy Bob Thornton's character. And it becomes this unintentional battle for who's the fucking coolest. I mean, down to like a free throw contest. It's just, or like who can hold the fucking
who can hold the match
longest.
Longest.
And this is based on, like I said, the article, and this article was done at the TRACON, which is in New York, and it's also known as NYT or N90 Radio Communications New York Approach or New York Departure. So TRACON means Terminal Radar Approach Control, which is actually in East Garden City, New York. So that's what it's based on.
There's also something, I'm curious, Todd, what you feel about this upon reflection, seeing it again after all these years. What I thought was interesting, because I don't think the women are interesting in this film at all, which is not.
They're not supposed to be.
Yeah, which again, when you have 2 stars in boring roles in 1999, you're like, that's what we did a lot with women that talented.
I would give a shout out to I hope I'm remembering her name right.
Vicki Lewis.
Vicki Lewis is
Yeah.
fabulous.
She's fucking hilarious in this movie.
Underutilized because she's that good.
From
That's
News
why
Radio. Yeah.
But
News
here's
Radio.
my question though for Todd though is there's this weird. I found it weird to watch like Cusack is like jealous of like Billy Bob, and to the point where he's in bed with Jolie, right? He'll bed, Billy Bob's wife. And it's this weird thing where it's like, why are you jealous? Even Jolie is like, you seem to be obsessed with him. What's going on?
Yeah, but haven't you ever kind of
But I'm curious what Todd thinks, as the guy, like, is that weird? Because I was like, I don't know, man. You're the one sleeping with the hot wife. Why are
I mean, I'm not this kind of guy, so yeah, it's like a weird thing to watch. But at the same time, I mean, yeah, it's I mean, you said it. He's the alpha male of this group of air traffic controllers, and then this other guy shows up who's more confident than he is, so he becomes obsessed with him because his alpha maleness is threatened. He's found insecurity through Billy Bob Thornton.
Right. But I think it's more of I mean, and I'm not mansplaining, but I think of it this way, like, what if you were the most popular person at work and then this new person shows up and he barely does anything, right? He's just cool, calm, collected. Everybody's heard about the Jesh Watch thing, so they think he's got to be kind of crazy, right? Yeah. And so they start to applaud him on things that he does, and with the fucking feather. And so I think in Nick's mind, it's like, who the fuck is this fucking stupid hippie? Like the way that he looks at him and the feather becomes a whole argument. I think in a way, like if someone came in and took over my thunder and became the alpha, it would kind of hurt a little bit, but it's just like, that's the way things are. And, a friend to everyone is a friend to no one. So when you have Billy Bob and when you have Russell and Nick, it's almost like they see shit in each other that nobody else does. Like Russell figures out Nick in like 5 minutes flat, and it's the same bullshit that he pulls everywhere. It's his, and I think one of my favorite things in the movie was when John's like, hey, Nick's like, we're gonna go get donuts. And he's just like fucking speeding and racing through traffic, and he's looking over at Russell. And then at one point, when he stops, he looks over and Russell's a fucking sleep. And then they stop at the traffic light.
Right.
And he's still looking at him. And then Russell goes, it don't get no greener, and just steps on the thing. Yeah, and then it's from the, driving. So Cusack's like, and then they get to the donut shop, and it's like it never happened, because then Russell goes, I hope they got cronuts. He's like, or croissant. Like, he's like, croissant is a pastry, it's not a donut. And then there's a hard car on the way back. Yeah, Russell's eating a croissant, and Nick is just like,
but it's also,
I don't get it.
But it's interesting because I think because I don't think the film ultimately works, but I feel like because
I'm just curious to know why you don't think the film works.
I think it's too long. I think it's too long. I think it's episodic. I think it
has severe comedic.
Well, like I said, it could be
sometimes
it could have been broken up into sitcoms. It could
right.
Sometimes it's a sitcom for sure.
I agree.
But it's like Chuck Lorre jokes in some scenes, which aren't unfunny. But then in the next scene, you're supposed to take it more seriously.
But there's also something. The reason I asked the question of Todd is like a dude watching this, at a time, 26 years later, is that there's something that there are threads of ideas that I find intellectually interesting that are not connected. So to answer your question, like for example, like this shot is really interesting because you start to get the different styles between, Cusack, who is like, to your point, right? He's the alpha before Billy Bob shows up, and he gets people there, and he's really safe, and he's almost more kind of conservative. And then Billy Bob shows up, and he is running people way closer together because he's like, you know what? They're going to miss their connections. We're going to get them there safe, and I trust myself, and I'm centered. Whereas Cusack's like, whoa, that's way too conservative, and you're, risking people's lives. There's something interesting there about a guy who is centered to his world going, I have this. And then the alpha who's being challenged by that guy who's actually centered and knows what he's doing and is calm. But that there's a metaphor there for women and these men's lives, that because we're not interested in the women in this film at all. I mean, as written, we are because of who's playing them. But like, there could have been a great film here, and Mike Newell has made those in the past, where I think there's the A-list story that parallels to this story. And what's weird to me, because television, which Glenn and Les are famous for, even in a sitcom format, there's an A, B, and C storyline. And so it's like, you know, what's the thematic through line between the A, B, and C storyline? So for me, that's all over the place in this movie. So there's TV stuff that works, that's funny. And then there's the dramatic stuff, because we're in a feature film, that doesn't, which is why I think the third act of this film feels almost, I don't want to say terminal, but overlong, in that there's a bomb threat out of nowhere. We don't know who calls it in. It doesn't matter.
But even before that, I actually kind of thought it was funny, because you've got Nick in this position where he is now on a plane with his wife coming home from the parents' funeral, or from the father's funeral, and they get bumpy, and and Nick is convinced that Russell is fucking with his plane. Right. And that's just ridiculous. And that's why, for me, it's like, I go in with
that they've set up Billy Bob's character. Billy Bob wouldn't do that.
Right. But and he wasn't even there that night. So but so the thing is,
that's the disconnect, I think, with greatness.
I agree. I mean, I think, Tracy, you're right, that this is why there's so much like bits and parts that are so enjoyable, and the movie's ultimately pretty entertaining. But it's like,
you guys didn't
scratch your head a lot.
Yeah, you guys didn't find the fucking airport to the air traffic controller, like, fuck the bomb threat. But the fact that those two guys are sitting next to each other, calling out coordinates and trajectories, while one is trying to kick, it's my worst nightmare come true, where two air traffic controllers fucking decide to fist fight in the room. And so I found it funny, because I know that would never happen, you know, when he kicks him in the ass, and then this happens, and then they're doing all this thing while this bomb may go off.
Well, let's
sometimes we don't need to know.
Jump too far ahead, because people who may not have seen the film or recently.
I just wanted to show this picture again.
Kurt!
One of the fun things about this movie, one, is that Kurt Fuller's in it, and we love Kurt Fuller. But the actress in between Kurt Fuller and John Cusack here, the recognition, she's the one who stands on top of the tower in Los Angeles in Independence Day, welcoming the aliens before they blow up the tower she's standing on. And so, like, when I watch movies like this, and they're from an era, and there's actors and actresses who've been who are in these movies, I just wonder what happened to these.
Yeah. Well, Ron Moss had a really successful run on Silicon Valley.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, he
I just
Silicon Valley, and then of course
another ginger actress in this movie, but where is she? And Vicki Lewis too. Vicki Lewis.
Mike O'Malley. Mike O'Malley's still working. John Carroll Lynch. I mean, there's a few that maybe they didn't do so much after, but like all those guys.
Let's go back to the narrative just to keep people up. So we've established the workplace. We know what's going on. Cusack is feeling massively kind of cuckolded, sort of, which is weird, because given him who he's going to sleep with next, by Billy Bob, who's taking the alpha energy away from him. So they're at like kind of a party, and they're doing the thing, and you've got these guys, and they're like, oh shit, like, you know, Billy Bob sneaks up behind them, and then we have the entrance to one Angelina Jolie, who, again, this is certainly Gia era. She's got the great cheekbones, and
she was filming Gia. She had just finished
a little. She looks. I mean, this is amazing. But I feel like today, and this is probably the difference many differences between 1999 and now. Cusack, not as much, but trying to afford Cate Blanchett and Angelina Jolie in a Fox movie right now, even with Cusack, would be very hard. And here you are in the frame where you're like, back in 1999, Fox 2000 existed, so we can have these great actors in the same frame, and if we didn't need one or the other or two of the three, and we could just let actors be actors. And I think that these actors really overperform, all of them, given, to my opinion, a not great script. But Jolie is so comfortable in front of the camera so early on that it's just like when she walks on, it's the star thing that you can't. That's her. She's got it, and it's see it here. Even in an I would argue, developed character, she just pops.
Well, that barbecue is also an interesting scene because when the planes fly overhead and Kurt Fuller's character is like, I told them don't fucking fly over here from this time to this time. He's like,
exactly,
fucking dude, I'm going to make every jet fly over his house one night. And then you've got, which I was like, it's a scene straight out of Goodfellas, except for I think Goodfellas came out. Maybe Goodfellas did come out
earlier.
No? Yeah, it came out first.
Goodfellas came out, I think, 1990.
Yeah,
because 93.
Yeah, because
Goodfellas was 93.
Well, it lost to Dances with Wolves, so early 90s. Yeah.
I remember that happening my freshman year in college, which would have been 90 or 91.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, like, I don't know, Angelina Jolie's character, like,
but everybody's already like, why is this girl all over Billy Bob? When
he goes, he's probably got her tied up in the basement, and then that's when Russell's like, hello.
Yeah. And it's this weird thing, but then we do this thing because we weren't in a politically correct era yet, where there's a hard cut where Jolie is seen crying in a grocery store, and Cusack happens to be there, and they feel the need to do a diet joke where she's got 3 Smirnoffs and a head of lettuce, because that's how we know that she's an alcoholic. Okay, so but like these are the kind of sight gags that either work for you or they don't. But it's like this weird moment because it's Angelina fucking Jolie, who's about to win an Oscar for supporting actress a couple of years
later.
Now,
no, I mean, so the Goodfellas scene with talking about Angelina Jolie is that she kind of has that Karen Hill moment with the wives in the living room, and the way that she behaves towards these women, I thought she was a fucking asshole. Like, I completely agreed with her that, I may not want to spend a whole lot of time with these women, but the way that she acted at that entire barbecue, like, if you can't be bothered to learn someone's name and they have to tell you, like, I've had this happen to me. Like, if I have to tell you my name 3 fucking times, that's it. Game over.
Yeah, you're right. She's terrible. I mean, she's terrible,
a horrible human being.
But this is the Madonna whore thing that they're playing with, right? It's like Cate Blanchett.
I didn't even think she was a whore.
I want to take, I don't know, but I want to take art classes because I'm unfulfilled. Subtext Cusack. Listen, and then Jolie's like, I can't even handle being here, and I'm crying, and he leaves, and I let him, and I'm whatever, and maybe it's the first time you slept around. Who knows? Who cares? But like, we get this moment where Cusack, comes over because he's obsessed with, I think, Billy Bob in ways that are interesting for straight men. And then, gets the hot wife. And this is a big plot point for the situation. And then we have this scene where Jolie, again, this lady's going to get like 3 years later, where like she's practically blowing him in public, going to an Italian place while Billy Bob is, I would argue, badly singing. And then the whole cast gets up there while Billy Bob is singing. Cusack is like, I can't even compete with this. Now his wife, the great Cate Blanchett, is also joining, and Jolie is like dressed, amazing. It's a time capsule of the relationship, but it's this weird sexual energy between Billy Bob and, I would argue, Cusack. Like, it's like you've slept with the wife, and in any other movie you're winning, and here you're just not. You're Lloyd Dobler going, I don't know, and I
think Russell and Connie had far more, because they fucked too. But when Russell and Connie are talking outside the Traycon and talking about French and stuff, and you see Nick come out, and it's just all about pissing on everything and protecting his property. But at the same time, it was like just that short little dalliance between Russell and Connie. And we find out later from Connie, she's like, I fucked him too. So,
But here's the thing, though, that there's a very big cinematic choice to not show Cate Blanchett cheating on Cusack, to not see Billy Bob having sex.
That's what I mean. It's just the fact that she was like, I fucked him too, and everybody's like, I believe it.
But again, it's ostensibly Cusack's film with everybody else in his orbit. but there was a dramatic choice from the TV writers who were like, we're not going to show Blanchett cheating because we want to keep her more in this category. But also, had she not, I would argue creatively, it would have been more interesting if Cusack was spun up in hypocritical mode where he slept with Jolie. His wife maybe didn't cross that border. Like, he's getting spun up because I think he has a thing with Billy Bob. And I think that they're missing something more interesting perhaps in what's in the film, because they don't, it's there, but they don't really lean in.
It's because it's about one-upping each other. It's like, you fuck my wife, fine, I'll fuck your wife, and then we're even. You know, it's about these two guys literally just competing, and one's able to hide it really well, and the other one obviously is like a petulant teenager, and it's
And let's get into.
I did say that, Tracy, while I was watching this with Hillary. I said in the third act, this would be way more interesting if suddenly they're making out. Billy Bob and John Cusack. If they had been making out, then I would have been like, okay, this movie's got balls. But you're right; it just sort of it's the toxic bro competition. But like, how does that not exist on this level without some actual homosexual tension?
But here's the thing, and again, you know, random chick talking here, but I think this would have been more interesting had they gotten into the Cusack versus Billy Bob of it all. And I don't think it's interesting, like the one-upmanship. It's very sophomoric, and these guys are clearly in their 30s or 40s. And it's like, it's just kind of like, that's not as elevated or interesting if you're still doing this. If you were 20-something behaving this way, maybe. These guys are 10 or 15 years beyond that. So I just think there's a lot of amazing things that aren't calibrated, which is why I think it belongs on this show, although totally watchable and entertaining. But I feel like there were threads to this with this cast. Like, I would die to work with all these actors. And I think a little bit of work on this script to do this, I think you could have had a great Fox 2000 film. I think it's super entertaining, but I think you could have actually said something.
It needed to be one of two things. And I realized that the second act and the sleeping with each other's wives and all that stuff it's supposed to be about the personal fallout from this particularly high stress job.
Yes.
But I almost think when I remember going to see it, and what I wanted to see was a movie about air traffic controlling. And because the second act is not that, you get it in the first and third act, you get a lot of it, but in the second act, it doesn't happen. And so it sort of feels like two movies in one.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But then you get in the airplane, Cusack, freaks out and has a thing. This is what Crix was telling us, right? He's convinced that Billy Bob on the ground is trying to crash the plane that he's on, which again doesn't really make sense. But we spend a lot of time on the plane with that. But then you go back to Todd's point, like what he wants to see, right? Which is the air traffic controllers. And I think, Crix, you're right. I think the guys who wrote on Taxi and in Wings and all this they could have completely done this as a killer sitcom, and it would have looked a lot like this. These are the guys. This is home base. This is the Taxi hub. That's what the TV show could have looked like. And I think there's actually still a good TV show in this idea.
I do, Tracy, by the way, have a clip. We've already gone past the moment.
Let's do it.
But I have a clip, and it's the scene where John Cusack tells Jake Weber at a bar that he's had sex with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
In our clip, of course,
they were at Vicky's competition.
Yes, at Vicky's competition, exactly. So she's dancing her heart out.
Give her mad props. Also, she's in incredible shape, and oh my God,
and she's hilarious. I mean, she's really one of the funniest.
Scenes by just sitting there. She's so good. Yeah, she's
really good. So in this clip, Hillary is standing in for Jake Weber, and my mother-in-law is standing in for John.
Oh
Cusack.
My God, we have your mother like you. All right, roll.
It's horrible doing that with another controller's wife. I broke the unwritten rule. At least you have the decency to be disgusted with your own behavior. That's something, isn't it? It's something. At least that counts for something. Yeah, That'll teach Russell to take on more planes than you. You know, we just lost our heads. I think he's trying. I think he's trying. Okay. Whoa, Nick, you're starting to worry me. You're starting to worry me, Nick. This job can get to people, Nick, right? Sometimes this job gets to people. The universe tends towards chaos.
What?
It does.
What?
The universe tends towards chaos.
What?
It's like we're the last line of defense against chaos in the sky. It can be too much of a burden, you know? It can be more than the human mind.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I got it.
Yeah. You're not screwing my wife, are you, Nick? You're so crazy.
Well,
You know what I appreciate? the
I love
most?
that so much. Thank you. Thank you to Hillary and Motherland. And Kubrick behind the camera.
It was so cute.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Kubrick. It really was Kubrickian.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I was very mean to both of them.
Oh no, we were right in their face. All right.
I was just thinking of something watching that clip. So, in the movie Super, James Gunn's movie, there was a line that Rainn Wilson had said to Elliot Page, where she's like, "What do we do now?" He's like, "Well, we have to do what's between the panels." And she's like, "Well, what's between the panels?" And he's like, "Life is between the panels." And so I think that's what they were. And panels meaning comic book, folks. So I think that I feel like that's kind of what, Glenn and Les and Mike were trying to do. Like, I first name them like I fucking know them. I think that's what they were trying to do, was like, it's a movie about air controllers, yes, but it's also about what happens outside of that. And if they had evened it out just a little bit more and had more reasons for them to be outside, because obviously these air traffic controllers, they don't get a lot of fucking sun, and so, or they're up all night and then they go out and get breakfast together. But it's what happens after the excitingness of being an air traffic controller is either boring as fuck, or everybody fucking eats, or everybody fucks each other's significant others. And I liked that when it came to the cat fight, they did not include the women, because that would have just been obvious, because Connie's very New York. I mean, she looks like she could snatch a weave. I mean, all these ladies are obviously Italian. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean, they look straight out of Goodfellas, like in the little fucking sewing circle. So she looks like she could snatch a wig, because Mary looks, God, I hate to say this because I hate this, but she's so pretty that she would think that nobody would ever come after her, or she would get protected before the snatch could even start. And that's what I hated about Mary. But I did appreciate that they went for the jealous cat fight to be between Russell and Nick, and that it was just kind of really stupid. Like the feather thing, like, give me back my feather. And,
Yeah,
this is what you would typically see two women do. Like, give me back my ring. She's like, fuck you, it's not your ring, it's my man's. And you kind of got that with those two. And it's like, we used to turn the sound down on that scene. When I was living with other VO people, we would turn the sound down and we would dub over it with our own lines. Yeah. And a lot of it was that, you better be touching my man. But like the Angelina Jolie thing, or not but the Mary thing, it's like, okay, I get it, you should be honest, but like, why'd you fuck the guy in the first place?
Yeah.
Right.
Alcohol is a truth teller for sure, and alcohol isn't it's like puts your inhibitors down, but it's like, really, you're gonna fuck a guy and then immediately rat yourself out the next day. I guess I appreciate that, but I don't in a way either, because it's like, if you're gonna cheat,
Yeah.
it's like, what if you're gonna commit the crime? Why?
No, everyone sucks at being cheaters in this movie. That's one thing that's
but
absolutely clear. They're terrible at it.
Well, Nick was great. Angelina or Mary not so much, and Russell.
Nick wasn't
Russell's
great.
wife
He
not
like
so much.
immediately like
because Russell was like inferring.
immediately started telling people I cheated with
Yeah, but
Russell's wife. He started telling everybody.
But
It's only a
Russell-
matter of time before he told
Russell telling Nick about Mary's or about Connie. It's like, she's real pretty, she's real nice, and of course it's just like he knows exactly which fuck you buttons to push in Nick's head. And just mentioning that she's pretty, where he goes to his wife, he's like, does he call you Connie or does he call you Mrs. Falzone? And it's just like, what the fuck, dude?
This is a film. Again, this is a film, and I say this lovingly. Has zero interest in the women characters, zero interest in giving them anything to play. What this is about is really about all these guys going, holy shit, look how hot Angelina Jolie is, which is why. And then he can't wait to brag about, I bagged the guy that entered my realm of alpha, and now I've got his wife. That's what it's about. It's about being a fucking high schooler. That's emotional.
It very much is.
Those women.
The Lloyd Dobler thing is a good point. Whip us through the end of the narrative. So
basically, we figure out that actually Russell is exactly the character as written. He doesn't want to kill people. That's his whole thing. He's good. We have the workplace comedy. It's okay. Everyone's gonna. And then we have a completely Deus Ex Machina because they didn't, I think, know how to end the film. Oh my God, there's a bomb threat because hashtag what? Anyway, so Cusack runs out like he's Tom Cruise. Very good running form for those of us who've watched Tom Cruise films lately. Very good running form. And then he's like, okay, we're out. But like he kind of wimps out and he abandons his post. And then this guy, right, the alpha, the real alpha, Billy Bob comes out. The reporters are there. He becomes the hero that Cusack wants to be. Cusack knows he's been bested. Fuck, I should have hung in there a little bit more. And then just when he's like, okay, I kind of was a sad sack and I ran out, he goes home and his sweet high school sweetheart is like, I'm done. You're kind of lame. I'm leaving your ass. You have nothing. Then he has to come back because he's, whatever. He sputters. Crix told us before, right? 3 and you're out.
Yeah.
Twice within half an hour. So his entire career could end at a moment's notice. He finally lands the plane, which is good. Then he goes out and he seeks Billy Bob and, River runs through it, lands. They can have like a little.
Because he follows him and then he calls Mary. And luckily they don't show her again, but she said, he's like, he followed him out to Colorado and he's like, and Mary had a message for you. He told you Colorado wasn't far enough.
Yeah, and you're like, because again, let's the men should speak for the women, but he's wearing a John Prine hat, so it's all good. He's a soulful poet. It's all fine. And so
why do you wear 2 hats though? I mean, like, what's the point?
One keeps your head warm, and the other just, you have to keep the sun out of your eyes.
He's wearing it backwards. His eyes
he doesn't
are
need the sun in his eyes. It's winter.
It's cold. It's cold. We're told
Billy Bob Thornton insisted his character would wear 2 hats. That's
because
I think he did in real life, though.
I was gonna say Billy Bob was sporting this look in real life, which is why I think he's playing himself and Cusack's playing himself. And as someone who's not interested, perhaps in either, and likes the ladies, and then they have no characters to play, but they're both great anyway. I'm like, anyway, it's not about the ladies. But then to Todd's point, you're like, yeah. So now we have this bad green screen where he's like, dude, let's all like do the underbelly of the plane, and then we get thrown out of this. It would kill you, but let's pretend it doesn't. And then all of a sudden, Cusack's back, and he can sit there, and he's
he was about to have his third deal. His hands were shaky when he's trying to put his thing in, and I probably would have done this too. I can't be an air traffic controller. That's why I put Dr. Freeze. There's no fucking way I can handle that much stress.
No.
But the way that he goes, wait. He's like, what was the bet? What'd you guys have me? He's like, what was my nickname? What'd you guys call me? And it was like Nick, something like no fly zone. And that, I think, because Nick is such an asshole, and he even knows he's an asshole, that hearing that, and that hearing that only one person, which would be the Kurt Fuller character, has said, I had you coming all the way in. I had you making it. And he's like, I was the last to pick, though. And I was like, what?
Again, like, I'm just saying, like, the A version of this movie all of Cusack's guys are as rich as he is. All of them have moments that you can quote, and then the women get their day. And I think it's a mistake to have had Billy Bob sleep with Blanchett. I think it would have been way cooler without, because Russell's way cooler with it. And if we want to believe Jolie, oh, this is the first time I've ever cheated on Billy Bob, whatever. That's more interesting without the other guy violating it. And
I'm
that's
just wondering how old
the ultimate alpha male, because Cusack's an asshole. He's Lois
Right.
Dobler as Bernie Sanders supporter. And so this is what happens with these guys. And to have Russell be so cool where he's like, I could have, didn't anyway. And that would have at least been interesting. But instead, we're doing sitcom, to your point.
I find it kind of interesting though, and a little bit, because it made me wonder how old Mary was right then, because he said, you know, I'm a 40-year-old who married a 19-year-old. And so that made me wonder, is like, did they just get married, or have they been married for a couple of years? Like, what's the deal? Like, I mean, I'm guessing she's like a couple of years, because if she's buying fucking vodka at the local Costco or whatever.
With lettuce, because that used to be a punchline.
Yeah. Does anybody? I just was like, lettuce and vodka, great. I had no idea what that meant.
That was supermodels push their lettuce around and they drink vodka. That was Elizabeth Hurley had a famous quote about that. They're like, how do you keep your figure? And she's like, well, I drink vodka, not red wine, and I eat lettuce. And I was like, okay.
And then the one night fun thing with the women was
the casting.
The casting, because the one lady who plays Jake Weber's wife, she went on to HBO. She was on Oz and a bunch of other stuff. But it was nice to see that because I've been in a circle like this where they're all like, "Thank you, honey," blah blah blah. He's like, "Motherfucker," grinds his teeth in his sleep. I'm gonna kill him, you know. And it's as a single person,
but the next line, right, is but he does, and then his jaw got shut. That sounds good.
Yeah,
right?
he's like, he had his jaw wired shut or something. Yeah. And like, when you're a single woman, sitting in these little circles, like, this so fun. I want to make a short about it someday, because I went to my cousin's wedding shower, or baby shower. I was the only person that was not married or had kids. And they had like a 14-pound cat named Rowdy, who liked to be cuddled like a child, and he would always come up and demand to be cradled, and like rockabye baby kind of cradled. So I'm sitting there like petting his little butt like a baby. All these women are staring at me, and I'm like, yes, I'm the crazy fucking cat lady. This is my baby. Like, what am I gonna? I was so like, I'm never going to another fucking baby shower again. Like,
I'm gonna just do a little shout out of personal privilege here. My favorite baby shower ever captured on film: Dakota Johnson and Madam Web, where she's like, my mom died in childbirth. I mean, it was
Madam Web.
It wasn't bad. I mean, it was bad.
Love that movie. So what happens at the very end of this one? So
here's what happens. So because it's 1999 and Kate Blanchett hasn't like won everything yet. This is the era where she's listening to Gwyneth Paltrow for Shakespeare in Love over her for Elizabeth.
This is my second nightmare. This is my other big nightmare, is this scene. She's about to talk.
So she's like, okay, so I'm your high school sweetheart. He lets it slip that he's cheated multiple times, but this is the one she seems to have found, because he's Lloyd Dobler, Bernie Sanders supporter, I'm assuming. And so beforehand, I mean, because Bernie's been there for 40 years doing nothing, so he could have still liked him anyway. So then she's in a car. I mean, she's in the plane, and they're like, the pilot would like you to come to the cockpit. So she comes in. So this guy, right, he's like, I'm sorry I cheated on you. I've already been a dick for the whole film. I'm sorry I'm still dressing like Lloyd Dobler from 1987. It's all good. And so they start to talk, and then he starts to sing, and it's really charming. And we know that because we have a group shot oneer of the entire cast going, oh my God, look how cute he is. It's so great. And then she listens to Cusack singing. So there's an edit between this moment where Kate Blanchett, I would argue, actually sells this scene, which I don't believe at all, but she's so good. I'm like, let's pretend this is a happy ending. And then they get to end up together because she's like, you can be a cheating asshole.
But it's the amount of time he spends not looking at planes and talking to her that fucking freaked me out because for a while I never
Yeah,
thought
people
about,
would have
an air
crashed.
traffic controller might be the cause of my demise. And
And
lately
by the
I
way,
have
in the
been.
Trump era, it could be. Let's not,
But it
In
was,
some of the tone of this movie, that ending, if it was just planes crashing, would have been hilarious because sometimes this movie is that silly, but
It
then
is.
other times,
yeah,
it's not.
I mean, it's not, the movie honestly is not for everyone. It's everyone meet
Oh my
Casket.
God, the cute dogness happening here. I
Yeah,
love
this
it.
is
Adorable.
this is Casket.
Hi,
Casket,
Casket.
you are so
No,
goth.
casket, like funeral casket. This
Yeah,
is
like
my-
goth.
That's
my
what I thought you said.
ex-roommate's dog.
Casket.
Yeah, casket.
Adorable.
weird that-
Casket is adorable.
You don't
Dude.
see
Memento Mori.
and the other thing was, with the kids, you didn't see a whole lot of that life. It was just like what's with the adults. It's like this is an adult
they
thing.
have kids that we never see. It's amazing. It's my dream, actually. Never seen the kids.
Yeah, Jake and you got, again, with Jake Weber and all these guys, they were just starting out, and Vicki Lewis, like, she should have been way more famous.
She's fabulous.
Like, she should have had Kathy Griffin, like some of those roles that Kathy Griffin had.
Oh, that's
she should have had them.
That is fair.
She should have had them. Like,
That's fair. I mean, look, I don't want to take work away from Kathy Griffin.
No, I love Kathy too, but you're right.
But
there were sitcoms
like
back
Vicki
then.
Lewis is a way, like, she's not just a better comedic actress, she's just a better actress.
Yeah, Kathy's more of a stand-up.
She has so much range, and I wonder that when you see actors like Vicki Lewis, and you're like, what happened to them? And it's almost like, were they too good? They were so good, it terrified everybody from casting them.
Well, I would say this is like, by the way, Vicki Lewis, I mean, again, and I love Jane Greer, but I also find Jane Greer to be super attractive and talented. Can do horror, drama, comedy, whatever. And she's always playing the best friend. And I feel like Vicki Lewis and Jane Greer.
Who's Jane Greer?
She's basically like Judy. I'm sorry, Judy Greer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She's like in everything. Like, she's like, I'm Jennifer Garner's best friend, sabotage person, 13 going on 30.
Jawbreaker.
Like, all Jawbreaker. She's in like all the Halloweens until she's killed. But
Fun fact, she was Sean Gunn's roommate.
Yeah. Yes. But
I
feel like Judy Greer, like, she should top line, if there were any justice, she should top line her own romantic comedy because she has the chops.
I agree. She's very similar to Vicki Lewis.
I would see Judy Greer and Vicki here, like, in a buddy comedy. I would be like, I would love to see that film.
What is it that people don't see in these actresses?
Well, I think that
relegate them to the supporting.
Right. I think I'm speculating.
Because they're not.
But I'm just thinking about my own experience. But it was very hard for TV people to get into feature films at one point. Like, TV actors were not taken as seriously. It was just like no actor would be seen dead doing a commercial. Now that's all they do. Like, thanks for taking the work from me, fucker.
Yeah, I used to do all the work that you wouldn't do because it was below you.
And they wouldn't
now
even
I
do
can't
voiceovers.
get it.
Yeah, and now and like Brian Cox and Gene Hackman. I mean, Brian Cox is like da 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 da. He's like my favorite McDonald's dude.
My former boss was selling drugs, saying the word diarrhea with the Morgan Freeman voice, and I'm like, I don't know that that's your best use.
They took our jobs, but I think
in that world where I'm like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, amazing. So let's wrap it up. Crix, best 20-second elevator pitch. Why someone who hasn't seen Pushing 10 should watch it 26 years out of its timeline.
If you want a film where you can just shut your brain off, and if you were too young to remember the 90s and you want to see a time before 9/11 where we weren't taking our shoes and everything else off.
Yeah.
And, flying was actually kind of, I'm afraid of flying, but I don't mind it. But flying was actually a pleasure. It was made a pleasure.
That's true.
And now, in like the stuff that you'll see that happened in this movie will never happen again. And even air traffic control stuff, like it'll just it'll never happen. And this is the other reason why I like this movie, is because it's not a movie meant to be taken seriously. Like my other pitch, it's not Schindler's List, nor is it supposed to be.
That is true. That is very true.
If you just want something stupid to laugh at and kind of enjoy some of the dialogue, because some of that dialogue is, especially between the air traffic controllers, is done at almost breakneck speed. And so if you really want to know, I think this will be the most accurate for the 90s, what it was like at like TRACON. I'm sure it's way different now, but you know, it's not all romantic and fun, and it's not just like, oh, I could do this, no problem. It's not a fucking video game, like the little kid says. He's like, oh, it's like a video game. He's like, not a video game. Then I would definitely go for it. I mean, it's not going to kill you. It's only like $2 on Prime Video. I own it.
I agree.
Your wrap up.
I would say the reason to see this movie is 1999. It really is an interesting.
Plus, it was the Y2K year.
And this movie is, for better or for worse, different than anything else. So, like that, we were at the end of an era. Probably didn't realize it. I didn't. Where, you know, weird shit could make it onto the screen regardless of perfection.
Yeah, because you know, Soul Man with Thomas Howell, will never get made. Well, they'll never get made again, but we will get more white chicks. But you know, like nobody's ever going to be able to do blackface like that.
I don't know that's the best example, but I see what you mean.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're never going to see those kind of movies.
I don't want to ever see Soul Man again.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like,
here's the thing:
shit that they could get away with, but
here's what I would say.
This movie is real. It's
right.
real.
All right,
based on real shit. So that's why I would also urge people to see what life was like before.
Back when the air traffic controllers were funded, which they're not right now.
Yeah, and they're only allowed to work like 2-3 days a week anyway.
Yeah. No, it's so good. Sadly, I think the reason to see this film, and I am an unapologetic lover of movie stars and those that are almost movie stars. And what was trippy for me to revisit this film, because I as I said at the top of the show, I remember being with my parents. I remember seeing it opening weekend. I remember the theater. I remember the time. I remember the dinner we had before. I had forgotten this film. And so watching it again, I was like, I know why I forgot it. But now it's a period piece.
Yeah, it's
to Todd's point, where Cate Blanchett doesn't have a line on her face. Angelina Jolie seems to be at a comfortable weight. And Billy Bob, I don't understand then, now, or forever.
He was at his best weight. That now he's so, like, last time I saw him was a couple years ago, and he's so frail.
Yeah, I don't comment on the thing, but you're, to your point, as someone who's never understood him, he's probably his most attractive here. I liked him best in Armageddon, when he's the head of NASA and he turns to Liv Tyler, who's the daughter of the oil Harry Stamper, Bruce Willis. He goes, what do you think we should do? I'm like, oh, the world's ending. And the daughter of the guy who's like, that's why NASA's not funded. Anyway, and Cusack, who it's hard because he's taken a turn personally and has harmed some female friends of mine. So I'm not going to talk more about it.
Okay,
but
you have to talk in private.
He's kind of like this guy where I'm like, I grew up with the Lloyd Dobler Sure Thing, the funny
Sure Thing,
One Crazy Summer. I like him as an actor. It's not not toxic. Don't come after me. But I've had friends that have dated him, and so that's filtered in.
Well, like things that people do will definitely alter your.
Here's the thing: I don't care. Like wouldn't like to hang out with Ernest Hemingway, but I like reading him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's all good. But I just what struck me again watching this film out of context this many years later, because I couldn't remember it. I knew I didn't like it when I first saw it. Watching it again, I was like, the women are the biggest stars in this movie, and that you can't say that very often. And there's no version of Kate Blanchett now or for the last 15 years taking a role like this. There's no version of Jolie taking a role like this for 20 years. And I thought I just liked seeing both of them in the same frame because I think they're both movie stars. I think they're both really powerful actresses. And I think Cusack has dropped off the cliff, and Billy Bob is doing amazing work on television. I mean, I think he's done some
Yeah, he
great.
still has his Amazon show, right?
He has a great, yeah, the Oilman show,
Fargo was amazing.
but also his dirty, I'm a detective show. The name is
What's it called?
when Maria Bello played his wife in the first
Goliath.
season. Goliath.
Yeah.
Goliath was good for the first season. Then it got real brutal second season, whatever. But like, he's great. Anybody who plays a character whose office is Shay J, I'm here for you.
If you haven't, go back and revisit the sitcom Hearts of Fire with John Ritter and Billy Bob together. It's so fun, and Clark, a little Clark Duke, you know. And
I just think, we never lie to our viewers, because that's why we're not politicians. But this is a great movie, I would argue, to watch because the cast is on fire. It is a time capsule, as we've discussed, and there's so much talent in front of and behind. And it's a kind of movie, whether you like this film or not, we won't make again at the studio level. So it's inherently an Amber cinematic thing. And for those of us who like films and are Gen X, which is most of our viewers, according to our demographics, we miss this shit. And I would rather see a bad version of Pushing 10 that could have been great, but I see the tendril, so I'm here for it, than some of the things I've been asked to watch right now. So I would say if you haven't seen Pushing 10, just jump in, get a great cocktail, and watch the two ladies who can still top line a movie, rocking roles beneath them, even then. And the two guys, if you like them, then you'll love them in this.
And Kurt Fuller, who's awesome.
And Kurt Fuller, thank you, Kurt Fuller, because you've come on this program, and I appreciate you.
The last thing I want to bring up about Pushing 10, which I found it hilarious, but it's like you could tell who the Italians were because they wore the Adidas, the track suits. Like his Adidas stuff was always matching. And even in Idaho, one of my roommate at the time, her dad was a state senator, and his last name was Italian. And he shows up and he's like, got the matching dress. He's like, not for nothing, but I think your dog could lose a couple pounds. And he's like, and it really was like straight out of The Sopranos. And this was back in the 90s. But yeah, when he said not for nothing, I almost spit out my drink. But I did love that about that, because that's how New Yorkers are. They're like, you know, some of the in the suburbs.
New Yorkers are special, and people from Jersey, really.
100%. Okay, be bad.
Let's do. It's be bad or be best time. Tracy, why don't you go first? Tracy's going to present a movie title, and Crix, you will tell us if it's so bad nobody should watch it, or it's so bad it's awesome. It's be best. Everyone should see it.
I know Tracy has such good choices, though.
I'm a little jealous because my co-captain in Mayhem, Mr. Todd Anderson, tonight, the role of Todd Plotkin. He always does thematic shit, and I'm always like, I'm all over the place. So I tried to take a page from my partner's. You try to fucking hone it in, girl. You know. So my attempt for my 3 tonight. I'm just gonna say it out loud, is when nature / animals attack. So that's the thematic. Because I would have liked the ladies in the film we just said to say fuck you to these guys, but that's a different
right. Oh, yeah, I was waiting for that.
So it wasn't about the girls, because 1999. By the way, the idea that you can make a movie where Angelina Jolie and Kate Blanchett are like, we're just going to be here to support the boring men. I'm like, amazing. 1999 girls. Anyway, the film I want to bring up tonight, is it Be Bad? Is it Be Best? I have a feeling my partner in crime probably saw this. Crix knows the rules. If you haven't seen it, which is fair because Crix actually has good taste. I'm trying. She can judge the fucking graphics, title, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
One that I went to a rabbit hole this week. My wife and I were like, oh my God, this is
Your wife.
So here it is. Is it Be Bad? Is it Be Best? I bring you, and it's on Prime if y'all have it. This would be called Malibu Shark Attack. Peta Wilson, fresh from her triumph on Nikita. This is a story about, this is 2009 when Malibu was still sort of intact. The story is, oh my God, there's a tsunami in Malibu, which has never happened, but let's go with it, kids. And if there's a tsunami in Malibu, what happens is everything happens, and then we have our cast of characters who look really good in bikinis because hashtag Malibu Shark Attack.
Sure.
They're all, Peta Wilson being the older person who's probably 30 at the time. I don't know. Anyway, who cares? She's like, we're going to go to the lifeguard station, which means we're in a tank because it's a low budget shark film where the lifeguard station does this with the water. It is Malibu Shark Attack. Have you seen it? Is it Be Bad, Be Best based on everything you know?
I have not seen it. I've seen it on the list, but I've not seen it.
Oh,
but
I forgot a key detail. Forgive.
Yes.
The sharks that come out of the tsunami in Malibu are called goblin sharks. And I was like, that's bullshit. Then I looked it up. I'm like, that's not bullshit. Goblin sharks are real. So it's a shark with like a... So it's like it's got the horn and
oh yeah, it's Jaws here. And
it looks like a goblin, and I was like, well, now I have a goblin shark situation eating someone from Nikita with pretty people in bikinis in Malibu. Crix would Be Bad, Be Best. What do you think?
I never want to shit on a movie that it's not, if it's not offensive, if somebody, because obviously somebody wanted to watch it, because people on Amazon, like putting things on Amazon, it's like it can be like a crapshoot. You could get nothing, or you could get everything, or you can get lucky and get Shudder or somebody to be like, yo, we want to put your movie on our
100%.
What the movie does remind me of, it reminds me of 3 separate horror movies. One, I don't remember what they changed the title to, but it was like called Blood Beach or something like that, and it had Jamie Kennedy in it, and it was the one where there were things in the sand.
Blood Beach was before Jamie Kennedy's time, but that was where like the earthworms.
It was probably, you're probably thinking of Sand Sharks.
No, it was called something Blood, but anyway, it was a graduation. They were having the graduation party the night before, and then everybody passed out, and then everybody was gone except for the people that were trapped in the lifeguard tower. And then there's Crawl, which is the Australian movie with the alligators, and Teresa Palmer, and she gets trapped in a grocery store.
Crawl.
Bait. That's Bait.
Is it Bait?
The Australian movie where people are trapped in a grocery store.
But Teresa Palmer's not in that.
But then Teresa Palmer does Crawl, which is kind of like that too.
Crawl is alligators in that. Yeah.
And like American Dad, when the American Dad episode where they did the 3-over, where there was a tornado or hurricane coming through, and their house got flipped upside down, and there was a shark in there.
As it does.
1, 2, 3. There's a third movie. Shark Night.
Shark Night
3D, yes.
Talk about that in a bit.
Completely stupid movie, but the premise is kind of interesting. The premise is that the sharks washed over the wall during Katrina, and since they've survived in there, these guys.
And then Donald Logue is there doing.
And then and the sharks that they talk about in that are very real too. Like a lot of people don't know about the cookie cutter shark, because the cookie cutter shark is very hard to photograph and very hard to catch. But basically, a cookie cutter shark is it's a smaller shark that when it takes bites, it twists around. So you almost are left with a perfectly round cut, like a cookie. And they use the cookie cutters in Shark Night. And I think I liked it. Sometimes I will just like something because somebody's in it. And I'm just like, this is like Donald Logue
owning it. No, That's
But,
not
but
right.
what? Sorry, that was the wrong one.
But I would say be
So
best.
what?
Just
Be
check.
So
bad.
Malibu Shark Attack, be bad, be best, Chris.
I would say be okay. Like, meaning watch it if you're just wanting to like zone out, or if you're the kind of person like me that needs something
Yeah,
on
and it's
and
free on
in the
Prime.
background, and it's free. And plus, sometimes when you're not paying attention to shitty movies, you'll hear the funniest lines.
That's true. That
And so that's
Mhm.
why I'm always like, I'm never gonna be like, fuck this horror movie, because every horror movie on the planet has 2 or 3 good quotes in it.
100%. Todd Plotkin. Did you see Malibu Shark Attack?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I have to say be bad because this is the asylum level shark movie.
It's not
Like-
Asylum, but it's sort of the same.
Asylum.
Yeah, it's probably less than Asylum. It's
it
like
has Sarah Wilson.
Bait 3D that Crix mentioned is as low as I'll go with a shark movie.
Okay.
Malibu Shark Attack is a movie that I probably put on and didn't last 20 minutes. I'm just
Be bad for you. Be sort of with Crix. I'm gonna say, because I went down a dark, zero budget shark zone.
Mhm.
I had never heard of this film, seen this film, because I've been watching so many bad shark films. This came up in my algorithm because I'm growing the algorithm, and I kind of loved it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's super fun, and I was charmed by how dumb, and yet they did all the tropes. They're doing allusions to films that I love with no money, and then everything is fine, everyone's hot, whatever. And then when they cut to the goblin sharks, it's like kind of animated because they don't have the money. And as somebody who had no money and just made like a movie I'm really proud of, I'm like, I see your budget. There's a part of me that is like, I just think it's. I
get that. So it's a be best for you.
It's be best, but be best qualified camp.
Within the realm of the CGI.
It's not even CGI. It's not CGI. Hanna-Barbera, my friend.
Yeah. You know what I feel like? I feel like every movie, it should be like video games. Like, you should just like get an achievement. Like, I used to do this thing like called, when I would review kind of bad games, it would be achievement unlocked. I made a game. And I think with movies, if that could happen, it would be like achievement unlocked. I made a movie. Didn't have to say how good it was. I just fucking made a movie. And because making a movie in and of itself, especially if you're like by yourself,
Herculean.
That's true about a lot of low budget movies. Here's my be bad, be best title.
Shit.
It's a John Cusack 1990s or early 90s John Cusack movie where he is, I think, basically a Republican, young Republican.
Absolutely.
And he's best friends with James Spader, and there's problems with their politics going forward. Crix is, I don't know if you've seen it, but be bad or be best.
I think I saw this movie a long time ago. Because I remember there were some interesting things. And plus, oddly enough, back then, I had a huge fucking crush on both these guys. So, and also Mandy Patinkin, I remember, was in the movie, and Richard Widmark. And I kind of like it when I see these like quote unquote Brat Pack actors go outside of what they were doing, like especially with James Spader, because James Spader has a bunch of fucking weird movies like Tough Turf and Jack's Back.
Jack's Back for the
and shit like that, that really got him outside that thing.
Supernova.
And then
Gravity Sex with Angela Bassett.
I liked James Spader in Bad Influence with Rob Lowe. I like those kind of movies where you see these like Tiger Beat models and actors and shit, like they go outside that realm, and I thought that was a really good example. I'm be best with anything, especially with James Spader. Even the crappy movies, I'm like, I love this movie so much. Was that I think it was mostly because I learned that James Spader, how he has that look where he's like squinty.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
because he's fucking blind
Yeah.
without glasses. And so he was able to make an entire career on the fact that he can't see for shit without his glasses on. So that's why I'm just like, I don't care.
That-
I don't care who's in it. I'm
That's
watching it.
acting. Tracy, where are you on True Colors?
Be Best. I have it on VHS somewhere. Love all of it.
Not to be confused with Primary Colors, which
No,
stars
I
Billy
mean-
Bob Thornton.
No, do
That-
not confuse
totally.
those two.
But I love this movie because I was a James Spader girl.
Yeah, it's very fun, and it's certainly fun to see these guys kind of getting older at a certain point in their career and trying to do something a little bit more.
I would never picture
Hardcore.
Spader as a bald, kind of paunchy man that he is now, like in Blacklist. But I'm still like, I'd still do him. He's still
Sure.
handsome.
Yeah.
Well, as we all would. It's
I mean-
James Spader, for God's sake.
I mean,
When bad films happen to good actors, I'll go first, Tracy, on bad films happening to good actors. And I'm actually not gonna. I don't know. Or this is my pick.
oh shit.
Cell with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, who were also together with Stephen King in a movie called 1408, which is one of the best horror movies ever made.
Absolutely.
So I was like, give me a Stephen King zombie story with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. I'm all into it. This movie is so budget. They spent all their money on the actors,
It
none
did.
on production. And it's just dull. And I kind of feel bad for all three of them in a weird way. I mean, I know they all got
They
paychecks.
cast a check.
They got paychecks. So why feel bad for any actor who got a decent paycheck? But I feel like maybe this is a bad movie that happened to me more than anything, because of the
fandom.
chemistry that they put together. It should have been awesome, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so-
Crick's thoughts.
On that movie?
Yeah.
Do you have any? You don't have
Oh,
to.
I do have a movie. I was just thinking about it because of Superman.
No, on Cell. We're talking about Cell.
Oh, Cell. I don't remember 1408 I've seen a few times, but Cell I don't think I ever saw.
You'd probably keep it that way. Tracy, have you seen it?
Sadly, I did. I remember thinking, gosh, they gave the actors everything and nothing left to film. That was my thought. And I was already a little over Cusack because I grew up thinking Lloyd Dobler as a stalker with a boombox was cute too, because I'm a Gen X girl. And then he started doing insane, stupid shit politically. And I was like, wow. And then he aged 20 years past his actual age. I'm like, showing. So I'm good with saying no. It's not. My memory of this film was, how did they get it financed? Because it's so inept.
Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack.
That's my thing.
Probably more for the Samuel L. Jackson.
What's your
Will Grant
movie,
Sweater.
Tracy? What's
When-
yours?
When good films happen to bad actors.
Yeah, or bad films happen to good actors.
Okay.
The other way around.
So my thing is, bad films happen to good actors, and when good actors get paid, I get really excited because actors torch going. I don't want to be provocative, and I think it shouldn't be, because I think Jurassic Park's been shit from the beginning. But the one I want to talk about is Jurassic World Rebirth, which in my circle I call Jurassic World Stillbirth.
Oh, damn.
I feel like Jonathan Bailey needs to be in everything. He's
No shit.
and he can do everything. And I actually like Scarlett Johansson. But if you're asking me to believe that Scarlett Johansson is a Blackwater mercenary who doesn't care about anything.
Maybe 10 years ago.
Well, she can still, she wears Ripley's tank top really good. By the way, it's 2025. Why are we wearing Ripley's tank top? Anyway, Sigourney Weaver, just saying. So if you want me to believe that ScarJo is a Blackwater mercenary, I can't. So we move on. But when Jonathan Bailey has this moment in Jurassic Park, and he's been described as a guy who works in the museum, and they think they're being meta cute. No one cares about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs aren't cute anymore. I'm out of a job, and no one wants to see this, like, explosion. And then ScarJo's like, I'm a mercenary. We're here. We need to go. There's yet another island no one told you about in Jurassic Park 1 through 25 or whatever we're on. And he's like, okay. And then he's so fucking hot. And he's like, did you ever think that maybe if we extract, like, I don't know, dino DNA or blood or plasma from an egg? Oh, by the way, it's not that. It's we've genetically mutated it. So that's a false flag for anyone who's a scientist. Anyway, but don't think, because Jurassic stillbirth.
Is this a prequel? I don't get it.
No, it's not a prequel. He goes, Jonathan Bailey's like, I mean, I can't sell tickets to see bones in my museum. So now I'm going to fucking take a Blackwater person and shame her for saying, what would happen if we took all of this, like, completely no one else could get to DNA that's been mutated, and we don't give it to Pfizer or whoever, and we just, like, open source it so, like, everybody has, like, medicine. And she's like, I've never thought about that. And then Jonathan Bailey looks at her and goes, maybe it's time to start thinking. I'm like, so I was like, I hate this film. There's no time for velociraptor attacks. There's no time for the spitter
Really?
Wait, let me finish, because this is my segment. They fucking put up dinosaurs no one's heard of and no one cares about, and somehow in 2025 looks worse than they did in the 90s when Spielberg did the first fucking mediocre film where Laura Dern is like, everyone I care about is dying and I'm just gonna eat ice cream. I'm like, you're done. I'm a Ripley girl. You're eating ice cream. Anyway, so I never thought the first Jurassic Park was good. Everything else has been terrible. And now they're like, a new saga. Let's put up this. They're like, a new era is born. No, it's not. This is Universal needs a new fucking beat ride. This film is embarrassing, and that it's made more money than F1, which is really fun, and obviously Maverick on wheels upsets me, and that you waste Jonathan Bailey, who should be in everything, and ScarJo, who's a really good actress, is like, I'm wearing Ripley's tank top and I'm a mercenary. I only care about money. Okay, Jonathan Bailey. Now I care about fucking fight.
Who's the bad actor? I mean, who's the good actor?
Film that you are asked to care about. I say this is an embarrassing film. Keith David is embarrassing.
Right. No, that's clear. You hate this movie.
Terrible actors.
Tracy, you hate this movie. That's clear. Who is the victim? Who is the good actor? Who's
the audience. Victim? The audience is the victim.
Oh, the audience. When bad movies happen to good audiences.
I like every actor in this film, and it's embarrassing and beneath them.
I get you. Let's end this because I gotta go eat dinner, you guys. Let's end on a positive note with the boost. Right. Tracy, you go first. What's your boost? What's your
Dangerous Animals, which got a limited theatrical release. Shudder picked it up because they're smarter than everybody else. They were able to put it in a nominal number of theaters, not enough for most people listening to this podcast for my taste, but this is an exceptional film. It is a serial killer film with sharks as a bonus. It's not about that. It's character driven. Jai Courtney is amazing. Hera Hismet, who actually is the female lead, is phenomenal. I think this film is unexpected, super smart. Sean Byrne off this. If you like Devil's Candy, if you like The Loved Ones, you know he's great. This is his third. This film made about 4.5 million domestic and overseas. Shudder will premiere it in September. It's phenomenal and surprising. And you are in the chair of like, this is a director you need to pay attention to. This guy knows what he's doing. Sean Byrne. I love Dangerous Animals. I want to boost it. You can't quite see it yet, but soon. So if you missed it in the theaters because it only had a handful of screens, look for Dangerous Animals. This is a very my favorite shitty movie. Not shitty, but like no money, super smart.
It's a great B movie. It's great Ozploitation.
100% Aussie horror, I should say that.
And I'll piggyback on you and say this is the only movie I've seen in the theaters so far this year. And I saw it in the theater because it actually did play in Simi Valley amazingly. It's the only movie I've seen in the theater this year that satisfied me. Only one.
Oh.
And yes, I've seen Sinners and all the other things. This one killed it. It was a perfect B movie. I agree. Awesome. I'm gonna boost this other old John Cusack movie, which nobody saw, and I did, and it's actually really fun. And he plays, a dummy, but it's based on a true story. Much like Pushing 10, it's called Money for Nothing. And he's, a hapless working class dude who finds a bag of money that falls out of the back of an armored truck. And it becomes about what did you guys see this?
Nope.
See, nobody's seen it.
Once when it came out, and I immediately forgot all about it.
Oh, really?
It's not a movie that stuck with me at all.
I would recommend giving it another try, and if you haven't seen it, give it a try. I mean, it is purely of its era, one of those indie films we don't see anymore, and it's very fun. Did you see it, Tracy?
I never saw it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, give it a shot. I know you have your
what the boost is for.
Yeah, just you might have your misgivings about Cusack at this point because of politics or whatever, but this one is fun. And he plays it.
I have a little teeny tiny boost.
Okay.
Yeah, boost it.
This is going to be off of what Tracy was talking about, about Jonathan Bailey. And I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to boost a series that came out before Fleabag, but was also created by Phoebe Waller-Bridge called Crashing. Crashing is about, and they do this in England and a few other places, but Crashing is about these people that become property guardians. Basically, they go into abandoned buildings like closed hospitals and stuff in exchange for cheap rent, but there's like strict sets of rules. But you get to see the lives of these people who live in there. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge is one of them. Jonathan Bailey, blonde. I never, when I saw him with brunette hair, I was like, holy shit, because he looks really good. He's like bleached blonde hair.
By the way, he looks good in everything. Let's just acknowledge he looks good in everything.
And then fellow
travelers.
Yeah, the other recognizable that Americans would recognize is Adrian Scarborough, who was, of course, Daddy Weasley in Harry Potter. It's only 6 episodes. It was one series, ran for 6 episodes, but it's really, really funny. It's really good, and that was my first introduction to Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so this came out before she did Fleabag.
Fleabag is for the age, so
yeah.
Every time I'm hate watching And Just Like That because I grew up with those girls and it's tragic. But I was like, could we not have just fired Michael Patrick King? I'm sorry, or invited Phoebe Waller-Bridge to go, let me talk to you about how women actually talk and fuck. I mean, that would have been great. Not that the gay man doesn't get it, but can we just have Phoebe Waller-Bridge try to save And Just Like That? I am asking as a fan.
Yeah, it's this came out in 2016. But Phoebe Waller
democracy almost.
Yeah, and the way that this character in Crashing is different from Fleabag in that there is not a fourth wall break.
Oh.
So
Phoebe's ability to break the fourth wall, totally does. She's that good.
Yeah, so Crashing doesn't do that. It's
okay.
It's a straight across sitcom.
Amaze.
Is there
so good.
Is there anything you guys want to plug for the people to see
on Netflix?
I mean of your guys' stuff, Tracy. When's your movie coming out?
We're working on it. We're doing the trailer and the poster. I'm hoping when I get the trailer, I'm playing it on the show. I'm premiering it.
God damn, you are. Yes. Yes.
But yeah, we're working on that, and yeah, actually some good things that are coming. But it's a crazy time, y'all. But yeah, I just want to plug mental health. Like, take a time out and try to wean yourself off of the crazy every day, and just I don't know. Like I've had a moment in the last couple of weeks where I've had some significant people to me lose parents, pets,
Oh yeah.
lovers, like just without political whatever. Just hug your loved ones, check in on your friends, especially if they're single and alone. Like, call and check in. It is not a good time. And I think part of the reason Todd and I still do this show is like, let's celebrate storytelling. Let's celebrate actors. Let's celebrate directors when they show up. Like, let's talk about film and art that we love, because it's not a great time in the world right now. But time travel movies, contemporary movies, see Dangerous Animals. It's so much better than it needs to be. It's fantastic. Like, I see a film like that and I'm like galvanized, feel like I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Like, I just feel like art is the answer, music is the answer, and hug your loved ones, and chosen family, blood, whatevs. Like, it's a time. So just very happy to have this platform, and I love Crix. Thank you for coming back, and please do it more. And Todd, always. And Hillary with her mother. I don't even know what to do with that. It was very
I know.
fabulous. I feel very grateful that we have this platform.
Yeah, it's great.
Thanks for
It's
watching,
always great.
listening to those of you, because most of you listen to us and don't see. So thank you. And yeah, thank you.
Every time
Yeah.
I come here, the line from MC Chris's Vet always pops up, because when I do come here, it does feel like a deep in debate played at Bennigan's, you know. It's, like, it does feel like
I like
deep in
that.
debate
I
played
think
at
that was
Bennigan's.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's like sitting around and just debating movies and being able to argue and be calm about it. It's like a calm argue, but it's also, like, nobody is giving you shit for because if we all like the same things, it would be fucking boring. It's like that it's not a tired cliche, or it's just like the saying, if everybody sung the same note, we'd only hear one note.
And just, I don't know. I think some of these films, I mean, it's turned into kind of a Gen X show, which is awesome by me. But like, I feel like our influences are showing, and we are just old enough where new films that everyone thinks is fascinating has already been done multiple times. And so we're seeing the echoes of stuff that have shaped us. And I think it's cool to talk about it filmically and artistically. Hello. Look, I can't with the cute dogness. It's like,
it's just for you.
Adorable.
It's just for you. It's
So
2.5 years old, my guy.
So good. He's so good.
That's good.
But again, I think part of what we have to do, this is why, the barbarians at the gate, so to speak, want to ban books and don't watch movies and let's pretend we're whatever. It's like, see a movie. And by the way, see a movie that challenges your ass, and sit in your discomfort and ask, why are you discomforted by what you're watching? And maybe you'll learn something.
Yeah, watch a shitty movie and try to figure out why you think it's shitty.
Yeah. Basic shit, y'all. Let's do it.
Sometimes you figure out that you're wrong. It's not that shitty. All right.
Thank you, Crix.
Thank you, Crix, so much, as always.
The only link I have to promote. So bad. But as you can see, I've lost.
Dude, let's promote it.
4 teeth missing. I'm trying to get a denture.
Okay.
And so I do have a link to my GoFundMe.
Put it in the chat.
Put it in the comments on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, do the thing. Everybody, fucking step up, everybody. And
I'm trying to put it on here, but says it failed to post to Todd. I was trying to put
That's
it in the
weird. Well,
comments.
when I get, it might be some kind of weird thing because StreamYard just updated, which is why I've been having.
By the
a lot
way,
of,
it took me 3 times as long to load all the stills. They did a whole thing.
Yeah, everything is weird because they updated their thing and it's not. It doesn't work well with various sites.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
just put it on after the fact. It'll be on
Crick,
there.
can you put it in comments?
Yeah, that's what I did. And
I
it
think she was
said-
trying to.
Oh, I'm not in
What I'm
Facebook,
saying
I'm
is
on
when the
StreamYard.
show ends, then put it up, and it should
right.
be there.
I mean, because I do enjoy being able to say, like, go in for roles, and I'm like, hey, do you need someone who's missing teeth and can, you know, Southern accents and stuff like that? I was like, I actually did put on my resume that I do wear a prosthetic, but like one of my friends' kids' favorite things for me to do is to act like a grumpy bulldog.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Woo!
All right.
People, check the comments, do the thing, support.
Help Cricks get lower teeth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Me too.
I love you guys. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
See you next.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.